Hi everyone, I'm Devin Belmain here at Glazer's Camera, and thank you for tuning in. I'll be filling in for Kate Haley, who's on the mend, but she'll be back with us soon. But today I'm joined by Mark Toal of Panasonic. Mark Toal, if you could intro yourself while I change your nameplate properly here.
Hi, Devin. Yeah, well, that's why we went on early to make sure all this worked okay.
Right?
Anyways, I'm Mark Toll from Panasonic, and I'm glad to be here today teaching this introduction to video editing class. So, Devin, let me know when you're ready there. If not, I'll explain that I'm a Panasonic tech rep. I've been a Lumix tech rep for 13 years now, so I'm supposed to know all about these cameras. This is not a Lumix class, so you don't need to be a Lumix owner or a Panasonic owner to be in this class. Panasonic just does a lot of video. It's one of our specialties, and I find a lot of people struggle with getting into video because of the editing part of it. So that's what this class is about. So, am I ready to keep going, Devin?
Oh, you're good to go.
Oh, good. Okay,
Like
I wasn't sure.
we're rolling.
Okay,
You're doing
okay,
great.
okay. So again, I'm going to do a short introduction, and as I explained, this is meant for just in case you're here in the wrong place. This is meant for the person who maybe has shot some video with their camera, or they have a camera. It can be a point and shoot, a DSLR, even if you're using a phone, anything that'll shoot video, and you've shot some video, but when you go to the editing part, it stopped you dead because you ask friends and they tell you that you need something like Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere, which are expensive programs and have a very steep learning curve. So when I first started doing video for Panasonic, this was probably about 10 years ago when we got into it very seriously with the GH1, I was looking for something simple to do my editing with, and I came across a program called Adobe Premier Elements. Now, a lot of your friends, if you take this class, afterwards you'll go, this guy showed me this program, Premier Elements. They're going to look at you like you don't know what you're doing. So I describe this as being, it's like Photoshop versus the light version of Photoshop. This does almost everything these other programs do, except you wouldn't use this if you were making a movie or a TV show, but it's great for any video you're going to make, and it'll do almost anything you want to do. So what I'm going to do is a short presentation, just 5 slides to explain things you need to do that are sort of best case uses in the camera when you shoot your video before you bring it into Premiere Elements. So let me share my screen here. I always love this technical part here. This is always the scary part. Okay, so again, I'm Mark Toll, and I'm going to put my email at the very end of this. And before I forget, so if you registered through Glazer's, through Eventbrite for this class where they have your email, after the class you'll be receiving an email with a special limited time offer for Panasonic for a discount that just applies to people who signed up for this class. So again, this is video editing for beginners. Now, the reason I love Adobe Premiere Elements is a couple of things. One is if you want to use, let's say, Premiere or Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro is the big brother of Premiere Elements. Now, it is available on a monthly program where you pay, I think it's $60 a month for the program, where the nice thing about Adobe Premiere Elements, it's a standalone program. Now, if you go to Adobe's website, just go to adobe.com and then type in, do a search for Premiere Elements. You'll find right now it's actually on sale for $69. It's normally $99, but I've never paid that for it. Couple of things. If you do decide, you can download a trial version. You can get a 30-day trial copy. The URL for it is here. It's a little long, so if you don't want to write that down or take a picture of the screen and type it in, just go to adobe.com and then hit the magnifying glass and do a search for Premiere Elements, and it'll take you right to the download. Now, the newest version is Adobe Premiere 2020, it's called, which is what we're going to be demonstrating. I've been using this since about 2010, I think. So every year they come out with a new version. Now there is no up. There's well, I would say there isn't an upgrade path. There is. They give you about $20 off, but it's not a free upgrade. So if you buy it for $69, if you want the new version next year, you're going to pay around $49 to $59 for it. But one thing I found is I upgrade every year just because I teach the program and I want every feature in it. But to be honest with you, I could probably be using the 2015 version and be just fine. The way the program works hasn't changed for years. It's just they add some features and they're mostly more automatic things that I don't use. So anyways, it's designed for beginning to moderate users. It has 3 modes, as you'll see, where it'll actually do everything for you, or an expert mode that we're going to go into today. And again, check out a free copy at Adobe. I want to make this so you can get into this and try it out. Let me go back here for a second. So online help. So after this class, because I'm going to just introduce the basics of Premiere Elements, and what I want to do is show you how to basically take a clip and take some still pictures, put them together with a title, and put them online. I don't want to go into every setting of the program because I don't know about you, but that scares me away. That I always think, oh my God, I've got to know how to do this. I've got to know how to do timeline or something like that, where you really don't, to put something online. If you go to my Vimeo site, if you go to vimeo.com/Mark Toal, where you'll see all my videos, all of those were edited in Premiere Elements. And if I spent probably more than 30 minutes on any of them, I'd be surprised. Now, after the class, if you want to know more about this, I suggest you go to YouTube, where you can learn everything. Just do a search for Adobe Premiere Elements 2020 or Adobe Premiere Elements in general, and you'll find a ton of videos. My favorite is this guy, Steve Grissetti, and I just really like his simple approach. I believe in a very simple approach to things. My goal is to get in and get things done and get on to something else in my life, not become bogged down in the program. If you're the type that likes to get into a program, like you want to know every nuance of Photoshop, then look at Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro or DaVinci Resolve, any of those online. Okay, help with everything video. So Devin, who's hosting this, is one of Glazer's video experts. Glazer's is one of the best sources for video knowledge, equipment, accessories. If you want to get into microphones, stabilizers, or any of that thing, Glazer's is the place to go, and they've got more video experts than any store I can think of. Okay, so let's talk for just a minute here about getting it right in the camera. So before you get to editing, so you don't spend a lot of time fixing what you've done, or, as I've had to do in the past, go out and reshoot what I shot because I didn't learn this in the first place. I want to give you a few tips of how to get it right in the camera. So keep in mind that videos that you shoot are either going to be MPEG or MOV files mostly. There's also a file format called AVCHD. If you see that in your camera, to be honest with you, I tend to avoid it. It's an older format that was designed for burning videos to DVDs to play on Blu-ray players. A little obsolete these days. It'll still work in Premiere, but it's a little more cumbersome to use. RAW is just coming. RAW files, if you're a photographer and you like to shoot RAW files, which give you a lot more control over the color, the contrast, the brightness, and everything. RAW files are just sort of coming to video, and they're coming to very high-end video. Adobe Premiere Elements doesn't support them. So think of your MP4 files as being like JPEG files are in stills. You have a limited amount of control over things like adjusting highlights and shadows. So try to get your color and exposure correct in the camera. In video, it's much more important to white balance. Now, cameras all have an automatic white balance. When you're starting out, if you're new to video, just put your camera in automatic white balance and shoot. But a lot of times you'll find that maybe there's something reflecting in it. You're under an umbrella that's casting a certain color cast on it. And you need to do a custom white balance. Now, all cameras will do this, from point and shoots to the most advanced SLRs will do a custom white balance. You do need something like a card that's shown in the picture here. I wouldn't use a piece of paper. They're not always white. They sometimes have a yellow cast to them or a bluish cast. Glazer sells all sorts of different varying price ranges for white balance devices. So try to white balance if you can, but again, if you're just starting out at this, don't worry about it. Now, exposure. Again, when you're first starting, put the camera in program or intelligent auto or whatever you want when you shoot your video. But keep in mind that when you're shooting still pictures, so if you shoot a still picture of something and then 2 seconds later, a cloud comes over and you shoot another one, the camera adjusts for that and you don't notice the change. It's just the change happens between the two pictures. But in a video, you're recording these frames. So you're going to see the picture shift from light to dark. A good example is if you're shooting outside on a cloudy day and a cloud goes over, you'll see the camera adjust the exposure and it's very off-putting to the person watching it. So if you know how to do manual exposure in your video camera, I would suggest trying to do it. If you've got a situation where the light is very consistent, don't worry about it. But if the light is changing, try to learn manual exposure. Manual focus is also not a bad thing to do too. If you've got somebody else to shoot the video for you and you're shooting, let's say, an interview video like we're going to work on today. Now, a couple of things. One of the most important ones in the camera. Now, the video that I'm going to be working with is a video that I've been making for Panasonic about a new camera we've got. So you're going to have to suffer through a little bit of a commercial here for a camera. It's a little bit of a subliminal message, I'll be honest with you. But one thing I learned early on is when you're doing this, when you're filming any scene, even if it's not a person talking, leave a 3-second buffer at the beginning and end of each clip. Now, we're even building this into cameras now so that when you push the video button, it counts down 3, 2, 1. And at the end, you count in your head, you stop talking and you literally count 1, 2, 3 before you turn the camera off. Now, the reason for this is, and you'll see it, is when you bring that clip into the video editing program, it doesn't abruptly start. You've got some area to cut the clip and get it exactly right. It just gives you a little bit of buffer on each end of it. I suggest if you're new to this, or even if you're not, if you're shooting for Vimeo or YouTube, which most of us are, or Instagram or Facebook or any things like that, I still shoot everything at 1080p. I tend to shoot at 60 frames a second because I find that they're a little sharper, a little crisper. 4K is very popular now, and all these programs will support 4K. You can upload 4K to YouTube, to Vimeo. But keep in mind, if you're new to this, 4K is a lot more, it's a lot bigger file, and it's a lot harder for your computer to work on. You may have a computer that's only a couple of years old, and it'll run very slowly, and that'll discourage you from shooting video. As I talked about the MP4 or the MOV format, if your camera offers a choice, I do MP4 because that's what the internet tends to support. Vimeo, YouTube, they all want MP4 files. Although if you shoot an MOV, they'll take it and convert it to MP4. So if you have any questions or comments after this, here's my email, marktoal@us.panasonic.com. So that's all the talking I want to do. So let me figure out how to get out of this and launch another program here. Let me quit PowerPoint. Okay, so now I'm going to launch Adobe Premier Elements 2020. We're going to start from the beginning here. So this is the original screen you get up. Now, you're going to find if you decide to buy this program, there's actually a photo editor part of it. There's something called Adobe Photoshop Elements, which is a light version of Photoshop for people who don't want to buy the subscription. And there's an organizer that goes with them that lets you organize your photos sort of like Lightroom. Now, the nice thing is you can, like right now, you can get all 3 of these programs together for $99. I think they're normally $149, but they're very frequently on sale. So anyways, I only use the photo editor. I don't use the organizer or the video editor. So what I've done here to begin with is I've taken my videos and my still pictures I'm going to use here, and I have put them in a folder. So you want to create a new folder somewhere on your computer, and you want to put the files you're going to use for this project in that folder. So that sort of let you know where everything is. Now, another thing that's very important, and again, I learned all this the hard way. After you've you've started a project and you've saved a Premiere project, which is not a saved video. It's really just the pieces of it that you can go back and edit. Don't move any files or rename any files because it won't know where they are. So that's why I put everything in a separate folder. Okay, so let's go back to Premiere. This is the original splash screen. Now I'm going to launch the video editor. And again, if you had, you almost wouldn't know the difference if you had version 2015 or 2016. And it's just loading. Okay, so here is my basic screen, and let me walk you around this a little bit. So I'm going to add media here in a second. This is the important part down here at the bottom. This is where my timeline is. And you can see here I've got timelines for video 1, video 2, video 3, audio 1, 2, and 3, voice, and music. And I'm going to show you how to use all these. Now, up at the top here, this is important too. So if I go to quick, if you first get the program and you're very, very new to video, this is where basically you add your clips and you add your still photos, and then at the end you say okay, and it builds a video for you without you doing anything. It's a little bit like iMovie will do this. Guided gives you great tips that you can do to do things like adding titles if you don't know how to do it. So if you want guided tips on video, audio, or basic tips, go here, and then this will actually walk you through the program and show you exactly how to do what you're looking to do. Now, there's even fun edits, they call them, where you can do things like time lapse. You can do that boomerang bounce back effect that you see on Instagram a lot. Slow motion, fast motion. You can really do an enormous amount with this program, but I don't want to get into all that because if you're new to this, that tends to scare me away when I take a class like this. I just want to show you how to do a video, put it on YouTube or Vimeo, and then you can go into all of this later on. Now, I like the expert mode, and don't be scared by the term expert. You're going to see this is extremely easy mode to use. First thing I'm going to do is add my media. Now, media can mean either still pictures or videos or music. Now, it's asked me, do I want to bring them in from the Elements organizer that I talked about if you buy the full version? Do I want to bring it in from a camera directly that I've plugged into the USB port on my computer? From a video camera? I could even import it from this webcam. So right now I'm talking into a Panasonic Lumix GH5 camera that I'm using as a webcam. I could turn that on and record right into the program. If you have an old DVD camera, you can actually import from a DVD camera from, I don't know anybody that still has one of those. So let's go to Add Media. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the file and folder that I created. Okay, I'm going to go to the desktop, and I'm going to go to the Glazer's video class, and I put them all in videos with stills for class. I'm just going to say import, and it's going to find everything in that folder. Okay, so here are all of what are called my project assets. So if I want to add something else, I can go here and I can add more to it. But if I want to see the assets that I have available for this video, they're right here. And I can expand it or get rid of it by doing this. Okay, so now that I have my project assets here, this one shows me, if you can see this, the one in the top here shows me that it's an MOV file. That's a movie. All of these are JPEGs. All of these are stills. So what I'm going to do very simply here, and let me look at my notes to make sure I'm covering everything in the order I want to cover here. So I'm going to bring the video in first, because again, this is a video about me talking about a new camera, and then I want to show some still pictures that I took from that camera. Okay, so once I bring my video in, now my video, as you can see, is in the timeline. It's always in video 1. This shows how long it is up here. It's about an hour. It's about a minute and 20 or 30 seconds. You've got a few things over here. If you scroll over these, it'll tell you what they are. This will take a freeze frame from the video, so you can stop the video and pull a freeze frame from it to use somewhere else or on YouTube. I can rotate the video. So let's say for some reason, I don't know if you've ever had this happen, where you shot a video and it's accidentally vertical instead of horizontal. You can rotate it. You can throw it away here, you can delete it, but you can also do that just by clicking on it and hitting the delete key. Markers will mark a beat marker, which is for music. Render renders your video. Right now, we're seeing kind of a low resolution version of it here, which is like a preview. Rendering it will render it as it's going to look in the final version. I don't necessarily do that. Here are our play buttons. We're going to show you these in a second here. This one actually plays the video. This one stops it. This one walks you back frame by frame, or is it this one? Oops. Yeah, so you can go backwards, forward. This one will take you back to the beginning of the clip. These will allow, now we're seeing it in a small window there. This will allow it to play full screen. Okay, and I hit the escape key to get out of that on my computer. Now over here on the right side here in this bar, if you can follow along here, these are ones I use a lot. So this timeline down here, so here is your whole timeline. This goes out to 6 minutes, 7 minutes, but we've only used a little between 1 minute and 2 minutes of it. So over here, I can fit to what's called the visible timeline. I can show as much as it'll fit on my screen. Here, I can zoom out to make it smaller. Here, I can zoom in to make it larger if I want to see something else. And I'll show you this when we get to the still pictures. Normally, I keep it in the fit to visible timeline. Now, this one is one of the most important ones in the whole program. So if you look on the far right here, you'll see the question mark. When I hit the question mark, it immediately takes you to your browser, and it takes you to Adobe's website, which lets you find help specific to Premiere Elements on every subject. And they've got a lot of great videos too. I find their videos just aren't as easy to follow as some of the ones on YouTube. So again, here is my still. So I've got this video that, as you can see, now I'll show you why I left this buffer. Now, so when I started to record, you see me here, I'm reaching over, the camera's on a tripod pointed at me. I reach over to push the record button, and I'm counting here to 3.
The new Panasonic Lumix G100.
Okay, so I want to cut that first part out. So it starts right there where I start to talk. Now, if I move this here, I can move along the timeline any speed I want. Now, one thing you'll notice down here, so here is my video on the timeline. My audio is right below it. Now, you can see where the audio starts. So that's around where I'm going to start talking. So what I'm going to do, now there's 2 ways to start playing the video. I can either push this button or I can push the space bar. So I'm going to push this. Oop, I'm a little too close to it. I thought I was a little bit. Let me go back. Okay, so right around there, I'm smiling. I look good, I think. Okay, I can cut this. Now, I want to cut this part out that's over here to the left of my entire timeline. I want to get rid of that out of the video. I can do this 2 ways. One is I can either just pull this, go to the end of it and pull it into there, pull it to where I want to stop.
The new Panasonic Lumix.
Now I have just where I want it, just where I want the video to start there. Let me go back and redo that again. Or what I can do is I can go to the place in the timeline, and you'll notice, if you can see it, there's a pair of scissors right there. I can click on the scissors. Now these 2 are separate. I can click on this and hit the delete key and get rid of it. So there's 2 ways to basically get your clip started. So the first thing I want to do is, like I said, is
the new Panasonic Lumix G1.
Okay, now I have it right where I want to start. Now what I do is, I won't bore you with all the details of this video, but I'll go down here towards the end, and I did the same thing at the end.
Thanks for listening.
Oops, and again, I got a little too close there.
Lamps, things like that. So anyways, thanks for listening.
Okay, I stopped the video right there. There are my scissors right there, and I delete that frame. Now here is my video just the way I want it to be. Now, the nice thing to keep in mind is you did not affect your original video. You didn't even affect the video that is up here in the project assets. So if I've cut this and all of a sudden I realize that I did it in the wrong place, or I did something wrong, just delete this and bring it down again from your assets. The original version is still in the assets. it doesn't ever crop your original files. It's a non-destructive program. Okay, now I want to add still pictures to the end of this. So let me go up here. I'm not going to add all of these. I'm just going to add this top row of 4. Now, what I do is I just select the 4 pictures and I bring them down and I drop them on the timeline at the end of the video. Okay. Now what I've got is
lamps, things like that. So anyways, thanks for listening.
Okay. When it finishes, it's going to go right into showing you the pictures. And I have them, I think, set up for a 3-second time. Okay. Now let's go back here. Now I want to add a title to this. And this is mostly all I do to when I make a video. If you look at my videos on Vimeo, this is pretty much all that's been done to them. So if you'll notice over here on the very far right side of the screen are all of your tools, as they call them, for things like fixing the video. I'm going to go to the add titles or text. This brings up the millions. And one thing Elements does is gives you a overwhelming amount of choices when it comes to effects and titles. There are titles here to just do everything. But I hate to say it, I like what you call default text. Okay, now you'll notice my assets are still over here. I can click there to get rid of those. Now, if I drag my titles, now they are a video. So I drag that to the video 2 in the timeline. Now think of these as layers. If you're familiar with Photoshop, this is like another layer. So this is now playing on top of your video. So whenever you adjust a video or a layer or anything, you've got to make sure that the playhead is on that, like it's on the titles or it's on here. If you're trying to adjust the photographs on the end right now, you can't do it because the program doesn't know where you are. It wants you to be on the timeline. So now what I do is I just double click on the pink box there, and then I can edit my text. Okay, I can just put in Glazer's class. Now, if here are all my controls for the text size. Now, if I want to move the text around, I press this arrow. Now, when I come over here, I can just move this text anywhere I want it in the screen. Now, you'll notice these white boxes in the screen. These are called safety boxes. So I like to make sure I'm inside of these boxes because depending on where you place this video, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or things like that, it can actually crop in a little bit. And to be sure that it's in the picture, make sure you're inside of the inside box. Okay, now my text looks a little big, so I'm going to shrink it down to 200 points of font. I can choose my font here. Let's choose something like Arial. I like that. Now I can pull it by its edge here and move it down here. Now, so when I start, now I move my playhead back to the beginning. Now when you play the video.
The new Panasonic Lumix G100 is primarily designed
now you'll
for...
notice that the title went away right where it ended here. If you want the title to be longer, all you have to do is pull it and make it longer.
Panasonic Lumix G100 is primarily designed for
So it's going to stay up there
bloggers.
now for most of the first scene. You could have it last the whole length of the video by dragging it all the way down there. Now, another thing I like to do is I like to fade out the video, to fade out the title. So to fade anything in or out, now if I click on something like the video or the title here, and I hold down the control key on a Mac and the command key on a PC. Again, this program works on both. I forgot to mention that. So for $69, if you have a Mac and a PC, you can load it on both of them, or you can load it on 2 PCs. I have it on my desktop and my laptop for $69. Okay, so now I'm clicking on that and I'm holding the control key down and I get these choices here, one of which is fade. So I can fade out the video. Now watch what happens when I watch the title here.
New Panasonic Lumix G100 is primarily designed for vloggers, for video people.
Did you notice how it just gently faded away? Okay, now an important thing to do here, which I forgot, which I should have done before here, is you should save this project. Let me go to Elements here, And I should, I'm going to save this, and I'm just going to call it Glazer's test one. Now, the reason for this, and watch out where it's saving it, because it's going to try to put it in your where all your videos go. But I'm going to put it in the Glazer's folder here. Now, the reason I save it is I've had the program crash. Just like any program can crash on any computer, the program crashes after you've put all this work in and everything is lost. So as soon as you think about it, save it, and then frequently go up and save it. Okay, so now I've got this. This goes into my stills down here. Now you're going to notice, so below my video line is my audio line. So you'll notice that.
Anyways, thanks for listening.
There is no audio line that goes with the stills. The stills are silent because they're JPEG files. They don't have any audio with them. One thing I can do here is I can do narration in the program. Okay, make it so I don't look quite as embarrassing there. I look happier. Okay, so what I can do is I can put the timeline right here, and then I can go up into the tools, okay, and I can turn on the tools at the very top of the screen under the menu items up there. It's the third one from the right. I can turn on narration. Now this turns on, you see my mic is here. It's giving me a little record window. If I want to, I always mute the audio while recording, or you'll get feedback. Sometimes I get feedback anyways here, so I'm just going to try this. Now, when I hit the record button, it's going to take a few seconds for the playhead to start recording, but you're going to see it move, and as it moves, it's going to record what I'm saying. Sorry about that. It's a little bit of a bug in the, because I'm doing this online, using Zoom and everything else. So you'll have to take my word for it that there would now be a voice down there. But I can speak it and describe the pictures and say these pictures were shot with the G100. This was shot with this lens or that lens. And when it gets to the end here, I just stop talking. Now, if you're like me, you don't get it on the first try. Let me get this out of the way. You can go down here. This is your voice recording down here at the bottom. I can go down there, I can highlight it, and I can delete it. Oops, let me see, I have to hold I'm holding the control key down to bring the menu up. I can just delete the voice, and I can run my playhead back, and I can just do it again and again and again until I get it so it fits the pictures perfectly. But you're watching the video, so you're watching the pictures change on the screen, and you can describe what's going on in them. So if you want to do, let's say all you want to do is a slideshow with still pictures, and you just dump all the still pictures in, and then you play them back and do your narration. Okay, so now let me save this one more time. So this I'm going to show you more, but let's say you just want to put a video together with or without stills. You want to put a title on it. You want to save this and put it on YouTube or Vimeo. And again, if you go to Vimeo or even YouTube, I have an account in YouTube. All of my videos were pretty much done at this level. Now what I do is up in the upper right corner here, I go to export and share. Now, if you don't want to think about this, let's say you're putting this on YouTube and you don't want to think about the resolution or anything else. This will make a nice looking 1280 HD by 720 video in an MP4 format that'll work in everything from Facebook to Instagram to YouTube. It'll work everywhere. So if you don't want to think about the settings, you can do a quick export. Then what you do down here, here's the file name, and then you tell the program where you want the final video to go. Now, you can also do this for online. And this gives you choices of, let's say you want to put this directly on Vimeo. I have a Vimeo account, a professional account that lets me put up larger videos at higher resolution. But you can put videos up to these programs without paying anything to them. Now I can go right to oh, my phone's ringing here. You can go right to Vimeo or YouTube here, but keep in mind that when you begin this, when you begin the share, it's going to ask you to put in your username and your password so that it knows how to go right to those two programs. Now, I don't do this, and the reason I don't do it is I want to save a copy to my computer and then put it up on Vimeo. But this is a fine way to do it. And then you choose your resolution. I generally put things up in HD 1080. Okay. You can do just audio. If you want to save just audio for some reason, you can do an MP3 file. If you want to save just still pictures, you can do that. But what I prefer is devices. So devices allow you to choose, let's say you're going to play this on your TV. Okay, you're going to play it on a phone. It adjusts the resolution for that. I generally am going to put this, I generally save these for a computer. And I don't do, it'll even do 4K Ultra HD. So if you want to do 4K, and I've got several videos up in 4K, just keep in mind they take up a lot more room and they do bog down your computer. But if I generally choose 1080p here, 1920 by 1080. I don't worry about my format. You only have one choice, which is MP4 H.264. And the nice thing about that is MP4 H.264 is exactly what all of the online services want. Now down here in the quality, so if you look over here under your custom settings, it's going to tell you that this is 1920 by 1080, which is high definition, H.264. I recorded it at 30 frames a second. This is the audio settings. It's going to tell you that it's 2 minutes and 5.5 seconds, in case you want to know. And the bit rate is 15 megabits per second. That is where the quality here comes in. The higher the bit rate, you'll notice if I go to high, it goes to 32. The higher the bit rate, the more detail you'll have in your pictures, the better color transitions you'll have, the less artifacting you'll have in it. But to be honest with you, a lot of online services like YouTube and Vimeo throw that information away. So you'll see it increases the file size fairly drastically. We're 231 megabytes. Now we're 490, so it's a much bigger file. If you don't have a fast internet, just leave it right where it is here. Okay. So again, then you browse to where you want to put this. If I want to put it in here, and then I say choose, and here's my path to it, and I say save. I won't do this because it takes 2 or 3 minutes to save it. But if I do this, a bar goes across and it saves it, and then I put that file on Vimeo or YouTube. Okay, so that's the quick and easy way to do it. If you just want to clip your video, take something out of it. Let's say you even want to take something out of the middle of a video. You can run your playhead here anywhere you want. Let's say you have a part of a scene in here that, oops, let me start play it. Okay. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry, I didn't have the playhead. I had the, okay, so if I bring my playhead here, let's say I want to cut something out of the middle of it, I can click the scissors here, and then I could click the scissors here, and it would give me a section here I could delete. So you clean up your video, you do everything to it you want. Okay, now let me show you a few more, a little more advanced settings if you want to do them. Now, if you want to add, let's say this clip down here that doesn't have any sound to it, I wanted to add music to it. Now, they give you, if you go under on the right side here, you go add audio to the soundtrack. Here are the musics that the music they give you. Well, they give you these for free with it, but you'll notice there's a little blue stripe at the top corner here. That means you have to download it. So the first time I click on one of these, it's going to download it. I think I did Outer Space last night just so we can use it. But if you click on this one, it downloads it for free, but it takes a few seconds to do it. So if I want to put Outer Space down here as my audio here, I can just drop it right there. I click this arrow to get rid of this. I'm done with that. Now you can see it's a little too long here. So what I'm going to do is, it's a very long, I can go here, I can shrink this down, and I can fit it just into this gap here. And you'll see when I drag this along, it'll tell me it's there. Okay, now, if I...
The new Panasonic Lumix G100.
Okay, if I bring my playhead down here, just ran off the mouse pad there. Okay, let me bring it down here and show you what's going to happen.
Anyways, thanks for listening.
Okay, so it's going to put music there. Now, if you even have your own music, if you have something in your iTunes library or any music on your computer, you can put it down there too, and then just drag it to. You can also adjust the volume of it. You can adjust the intensity of it so it's more mellow. You can go in. These are the volumes for these. That if I want to drag these down and increase or decrease my volume. But now I've got music here. So again, let me remind you to save that just in case something happens here. Now, let's say these frames, you'll notice as I go from...
Anyways, thanks for listening.
It's a little abrupt the way it goes from frame to frame. So again, what I can do is see, if you notice, I clicked on my main movie here. That shows that I'm working on that clip. Now, if I hold down the Control key, and I'm on a Mac, it's Command on a PC, you get this menu. I can say fade out the audio and the video, but I'm just going to fade out the video here. So what this is going to do is this is going to make more of a gentle transition. See how it just dipped to black? Now, I could also do the same thing for these pictures. If I'm holding the shift key down and clicking on one picture at a time. Okay, now I hold Control down and I want to fade in and out the pictures. Now, if you can see, it's actually giving you a graphic representation of that fade in and fade out. So now I'm going to get this very nice.
Anyways, thanks for listening.
I think professional looking fade in and fade out to each picture. With the music, so all of a sudden we're getting even a more professional looking video. Okay, so let's go down the tools on the side here, because this is really all that's left to the program. So this top one here is adjustments. Now you can do things, you can do what's called a smart fix. And this again, if I apply this, the program is going to try to, and remember, it's the clip that you've got highlighted. It's going to try to fix whatever color or density or any problems it sees in that clip. So that's sort of the full auto way to do it. Now, if I want to do individual color myself, let's say I think I'm too saturated there or something. Now, this gives you, you can do hue, you can do lightness or saturation. Let's say I want to do saturation. This is normal. This lightens, this takes out saturation. But what I like, I reset it here. What I like is if I hit more, I have the controls using sliders that let me just do this to any degree that I want to do it. And again, I can hit reset at any point. Close that. Now, I can even increase or decrease the volume of my clip here.
You look for our cameras like that.
You could hear that. Okay, so if for some reason you recorded it too quietly,
time lapse,
you can increase or decrease the clips. I could decrease the, let's do the bass to show a drastic change here.
Things like that. So anyways, thanks for listening.
If you want to sound like Barry White, you can do that. And again, you can always reset these. So again, there's so much you can do to this. You can do temperature, you can do tint. Now, let's look at, so these are a little more advanced, and we're not going to go into these here. I'm just going to go over them real quickly. Pan and zoom lets you basically, it's like what I call a Ken Burns effect, where it'll actually zoom in on the camera. You tell it to start with the full frame and then end up on the camera, and it zooms in on it. Freeze frame will capture a frame if you want to pull a frame out of it for some reason. Candid moments is a little bit automatic for me. Candid moments analyzes the video and looks for what it considers to be candid moments and shows them to you. These are more auto. You can extract the best scenes from a video. I personally want to decide what those are. Time remapping allows you to go in and speed up or slow down the video. And what's nice is you'll notice up here when you click on it, it tells you, it gives you exact directions about how to do this. So move the playhead to the exact spot in the video where you want it to start, okay? And, oops. Oh, I'm sorry. I add a time zone is what I do. I apologize. So I would say I just want this time zone here, just this part of the video. And then down in the bottom here, I can say I want it to be extremely slow, extremely fast, anything I want. I can make it reverse as I go through there. Now, if I don't want to do this, I just hit this in the upper corner. But mainly what I'm trying to do here is show you the capabilities of this program. Let's go to special effects. There's special effects, motion effects, opacity. You can adjust, let's say, the opacity of the title, how it blends in. Does it show some of the picture through it? It's just there's almost no end to this program. Now, these are really amazing. So these are sort of like filters that they've given you to put on to apply to the. Let me show you one. And you can do sharpen. You can sharpen and blur the picture from here. You can do image control. One of the ones that really shows what these can do is New Blue Cartoon plus Elements. Okay, so if I take this and I drag this onto my video, you saw I dragged it and dropped it onto the timeline. It takes a few minutes because if you think about it, it has to apply this filter to every frame. It turns me into a cartoon. Now, what's amazing about this program for $69, it lets you go in and adjust everything about this. So I could make it be more detailed or less, or black and white, brighter, more saturation. It's just amazing what this program will do. I should be able to undo that. Yeah, so if you want to undo something you just did, obviously, just like in any program, go to Edit, Undo. So we did effects. Here we have transitions. So as I showed you the transition here for it to go, I was doing dip to black is what it's called. But let's say I wanted to do, let's do something kind of, let's do something kind of a little more drastic. Okay, let's put that in there. I just apply it.
Anyways, thanks for listening.
It's just that easy to be able to drop one of these between the two frames. If I wanted to do it on all of these pictures, I would have to drop it between them. It tells me how long it wants that to last. Or let's say I want to remove it, I can do this. Anyway, so, and what I'm trying to basically convey is, as we get near the end here, is what we can do with this program. Here's my text. I've got all sorts of titles. I've got moving titles where if you want like the Star Wars titles to go up that show who directed it, who produced it. Here's all your music. And again, I can add music to the project assets up there and bring those in, or they give you just a tremendous amount of music. If you really have your heart set on it, you can do things like drop in emojis into your picture or little things and then move them around in your picture. You can put bubbles and things like that in there.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. I knew you'd be impressed, Devin.
Yeah, no, I was like, I don't know about this, but now that I know I can have animated bubbles, I'm happy.
It pretty much does it. You know, you can do, I think there might be Angry Birds in here if you want to, go back a few years. So, and again, I joke with Devin because Devin is one of Glazer's video experts, and to me, Devin is not the type of person who would use this program. But, again, Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premier Elements or DaVinci Resolve are going to be your what you aspire to. So again, this is like, I run into a lot of people who are overwhelmed by Photoshop. And I love Photoshop. It'll do everything I want to do for stills. But it's overwhelming. And a lot of people, it stops them from doing anything. And if you start to watch videos, let's say you download Final Cut Pro, the trial version or whatever, and you start to look at the videos, it's a very different program. But what those programs will do is they'll give you a lot more control over the look of your video. So in my video here, where you see me here, I can do things like I could take out some of the saturation, I could make it a little less yellow, I could take the contrast down a little bit, but I can't give it a completely different look. I can't apply what is called a LUT to it, a lookup table, which basically puts a whole nother color on top of this. So you're going to get a lot more advanced features, but if you're looking to just simply shoot a video, and again, any camera, it'll work with any camera's videos. You can even transfer your iPhone videos over, or if you have a Samsung, you can transfer those over and import those. You can import stills from anywhere. It's just anywhere. It's just a very, very, very surprisingly, I think, full-featured camera. And oh, let me show you shake reduction. So
that's what I was wondering, is if it did have an image. Like, if it doesn't have, like, that's a whole nother reason to go with something bigger. But if it has shake reduction, that's awesome.
It does. Well, a lot of the things that are in Premiere Elements come from Premiere Pro. So you'll find they're in Premiere Pro for a couple of years, and then they filter down here. Okay, so let me bring up my example here of this. So let me quit this one. I did a specific example here.
I think it's called trickle-down apponomics, is when something more professional trickles down to something more entry-level in time.
Yes, exactly, yes. So let's look at this one and see if this is it. Okay, so I'm loading a different, at least I'm trying to. Let me just show you the video. Well, let me go back. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here is, I walked along holding the camera out in front of me here.
So this video is meant to show the effects of shake reduction, which is the same as basically stabilizing in. So this video is meant to show the effects of shake reduction, which is the same as basically stabilizing in software.
So I took the same.
So this video is meant to show.
I took the same video, which was this first one here that I've just highlighted, and I went up to my tools. So I went to the correct ones here. Hold on, I'm going to go to the right ones here. And I go to shake reduction. Now, if I have that one highlighted, so what's happening is you could see a lot of bouncing in the video. So if I do shake reduction and I do quick shake reduction, what it's going to do is the program, I'll apply it to the shake reduction in projects. You'll know what it's doing here. See what it's doing is it's analyzing every frame. Now, you want to try to get this right in the camera. If you've got a camera with stabilization in it, use that. But if you end up with some shake that you want to get rid of, it's easy to do it in here. And there's even an advanced version that lets you decide how much cropping you want to do over stabilization. Because what shake reduction does is it crops the frame. It does this by cropping in on every frame so that it has room to straighten that frame out. So depending on the amount of shake you have in the picture, you can lose 10 to 20% of your image. You'll notice now it just cut my head off. My head was in the picture originally. So it's going to crop some, but it's going to do an amazing job on the shake reduction. But the program also lets you decide how smooth you want your video to look, whether you want to stabilize only or stabilize and crop or auto scale, crop versus smooth. Are you impressed yet, Devin?
I'm going to have to pick up a copy.
well, you don't have to go. You don't have to go that far. There won't be a test on it next time I see you. But.
Okay, I'll be prepared.
Anyways, so I think shake reduction, and again, this is basically an introduction to. Let me show you this again to Premiere Elements. And again, if you really want to know more about this, Steve Grissetti is, again, there's a million people on YouTube. I have no connection to Premiere Elements, to Adobe, or to Steve. I do, obviously, to Panasonic. And again, I wanted to mention here, we're at the end of the session, that if you did sign up for this class, you'll be getting an email after the class from Glazer's offering you a special offer on Panasonic, a limited time offer on Panasonic products. Anyways, Devin, do you have any questions or any comments?
Nothing is really cropped up. I think people are just impressed with what you had to share, for sure. Yeah, we still have plenty of eyes on us at the moment, but no, this is definitely a great presentation.
Okay, let me we've still got a couple of minutes if you don't mind here. Here are, if you want to again look at these, I'm not a great videographer, but if you go to Vimeo.com and you do / my name, which is Mark Toal, you'll just see all sorts of videos I've made, and every one of these has been. Let me see if I can find one here. Little things like. Oh, you can do another thing you can do in the program are things like this, is time lapse. So you can shoot a series of stills, and this is one of the guided lessons that they give you in Premiere Elements. So you can shoot a series of stills with your camera, and then put them all in one folder, import them in on the timeline, and then tell how long between each one you want it to play, and it'll create a time lapse out of it automatically for you.
Nice.
Now, Panasonic cameras all have that built in, but unfortunately, there's some other cameras that don't. They let you take the stills but not make the time lapse.
Poor things.
Anyways, this was made and put together in Elements. This is just me sitting the camera on a bench as the boats go by and shooting a video, shooting still pictures. I think I shot 300 still pictures here in about a 25-minute period. And then Elements built this. And again, I just then generated a 1080p video out and uploaded this to my Vimeo channel and shared it. So anyways, the Premiere Elements, I think, is just a quick way, quick and easy way. And again, a lot of people will ask me, it's like, well, I have a Mac, why don't I use iMovie? And I agree, iMovie is an excellent program. It's kind of Apple's equivalent of Premiere Elements. One thing I do like about Premiere Elements, I don't know if it's just me, but every once in a while, Apple decides to change iMovie in a way that is a whole different learning curve. It does a lot more. Where, again, what you'll find is I could probably go back and find my version of Adobe Premiere Elements 2010, and it would look identical. It would just have more tools and features added to it. I think Adobe does a better job making the software consistent so that once you've learned it, you don't have to keep learning it. You just learn new features. And they do a great job when you get the program originally of showing you what those new features are and how to use them. Okay, so with 3 minutes left, that's all I've got, Devin.
Excellent.
Let me stop sharing here and go back. I hope it helped people. And again, if you have any questions or comments, mark.toal@us.panasonic.com.
Excellent. No, you did a great job. We do have a comment here from Anthony saying thank you, great introduction to editing, and I will agree with that. I wasn't bored, of course. Like, maybe I didn't learn anything like substantial. I learned that Premiere Elements is more powerful than I gave it credit for, so that's nice.
Well, in your case, like in stores, like Devin obviously works at Glazer's, and when this COVID thing is over, I'll be back there too, helping out. A lot of times you run into that customer who wants to get into video, and you can tell they don't know anything about editing, and it's you send them to Premiere Pro or Final Cut, and
Yeah, I mean, I will say that if you're just like diving right into it and you just open up Premiere Pro like you started a trial, it's really intimidating. So it's nice that something like Elements is there to at least get you going and get you acclimated, and then people, of course, can watch this video and get acclimated to Elements, thanks to you, Mark. And
then if they decide they can move to Premiere and they have some of the basics. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that was a great session, and if anybody, thank you for joining us, watching live. Glazer's camera is, of course, operating to the best of our capacity in these current times. We are open Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday is 9 to 6. Saturday is open 9 to 5. Rentals is also open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday presently, but I believe their hours are changing soon. But yeah, we're here to help the best of our ability in these times, and we do have a mask policy in store if you're uncomfortable entering the store or cannot. We also offer curbside pickup for web orders and phone orders. But again, thank you, Mark, Mike, and Rick, who are also on this call, if we did have any technical questions. But yeah, I hope everyone else has a wonderful day, and take care.
Yeah, thanks, Devin.
Thanks.